The worst part about being the family ATM isn't the money, it's the way they make you feel guilty for having it in the first place. My name is Yasmin, and I've spent the last decade playing financial firefighter for my parents and younger brother. Every emergency gets branded as life or death. Every request comes wrapped in emotional manipulation, and somehow I'm always the bad guy for asking questions. Last Tuesday started like any other day until my phone lit up with my mother's name. I almost let it go to voicemail. Almost. Yasmin? Oh, thank God you picked up. My mother's voice cracked with practiced desperation. Your father? He needs emergency heart surgery. The doctor says if we don't act fast, she broke into theatrical sobs. Mom, slow down. What happened? Which doctor? Dr. Wolf, the specialist. We need $20,000 for the procedure or they won't schedule it. Insurance won't cover it, and you know your father's pride. He'd rather die than ask anyone else. My stomach clenched. 20,000? I'd just finished paying off the loan I took for Colin's urgent legal troubles last year. Can I talk to Dad? He's resting, dear. Please, we don't have time for 20 questions. Your father could. Another strategic sob. I never thought I'd have to beg my own daughter to save her father's life. Classic mom, going straight for the jugular. Okay, send me the account details. You're an angel, sweetheart. I'll text them right now. I hung up and stared at my computer screen, where my open browser still showed the European vacation package I'd been about to book. 10 years of dreaming about seeing Paris, and now my phone buzzed with Mom's text. I transferred the money, then canceled my flight reservations again. That evening, my best friend Alina called to check on me. You actually sent it without verification? What was I supposed to do if something happened to Dad because I hesitated? Girl, you need to start setting boundaries. They're bleeding you dry. I laughed bitterly. Boundaries in my family? That's like suggesting veganism to a pride of lions. A week passed. No updates about Dad's surgery. Every time I called, Mom had an excuse. He's resting, or we're waiting for the doctor to call. Then came Saturday morning. I was scrolling through Facebook when my coffee mug nearly slipped from my hand. There it was, a post from my mother, complete with professional photos. Celebration time. Join us for an extraordinary evening honoring Colin's promotion to vice president. Formal attire required. The venue? The Grand Plaza Hotel, the same place where basic wedding packages start at $30,000. My hands shook as I zoomed in on the invitation. Metallic cardstock with raised lettering, custom calligraphy, an open bar, a live band. I clicked through the photo album, ice sculptures, crystal champagne fountains, a guest list that looked like a who's who of local society. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. Don't forget to wear something slimming, dear. The photographer will be taking family portraits. I stared at the screen, my vision blurring. Then another message. And please arrive early to help with setup. You know how these things go. Right, because that's what good daughters do. They empty their savings accounts for fake medical emergencies, then show up early to arrange centerpieces for parties they unknowingly funded. I opened my banking app and checked my account. The transfer to their account was still there. Emergency medical, Dad, $20,000. My finger hovered over Alina's number, but I stopped myself. No, not this time. This time I needed more than a sympathetic ear and a glass of wine. I opened my laptop and started searching for Dr. Wolf. Then I pulled up the catering company's website, the one listed on the invitation. Finally, I checked my brother's company page, noting the names of his colleagues. Okay, I whispered to my empty apartment. You want to play games? Let's play. My phone buzzed again. Mom, don't forget to smile at the party, dear. You look so much prettier when you smile. I did smile then, but not for the reasons she wanted, because after years of being the family doormat, I finally understood something. The best revenge isn't served cold. It's served at a party in front of everyone who matters, with an open bar and crystal champagne fountains, and I had exactly 1 week to plan it. The Grand Plaza Hotel's ballroom looked like someone had vomited glitter and pretension everywhere. 3 ice sculptures caught the light from crystal chandeliers, while waiters in pressed tuxedos weaved through clusters of people who probably had summer as a verb. Yasmin, there you are. My mother's voice cut through the ambient chatter. She air kissed my cheeks, her fingers digging into my arms. I told you to wear something slimming. I glanced down at my black cocktail dress. Hello to you too, Mom. Where's Dad? Mingling, of course. He's feeling much better. She lowered her voice, though we're still waiting for that specialist to call back. Of course you are, I thought, watching a waiter pass with a tray of champagne that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Sis, Colin appeared, practically bouncing. His suit looked new. Custom-fitted Italian wool, if I had to guess. Can you believe this? Vice President of Operations at 28? Congratulations, I said, accepting his brief hug. Mom and Dad really went all out. They're amazing, aren't they? He beamed, completely missing my tone. Oh, there's Richard from the board. Gotta go network. I watched him swagger away, then caught sight of Dad by the bar. He was laughing with some golf buddies, no sign of any heart condition whatsoever. Ladies and gentlemen, the DJ's voice boomed through the speakers. Please welcome our man of the hour, Colin, for a few words. The crowd gathered around the small stage. I stayed near the back next to a woman I recognized from Colin's company photos. Jacqueline, I think. Thank you all for coming tonight, Colin began, radiating confidence. You know, success like this doesn't happen in a vacuum. I wouldn't be here without the unwavering support of my parents, especially my mom, who believed in me when no one else did. Mom dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. My father taught me the value of hard work, Colin continued, and together they gave me everything I needed to succeed. Their sacrifice, their guidance. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Just once, sharp and loud enough that several people turned to look. Jacqueline raised an eyebrow. Not feeling the family love? Let's just say some sacrifices go unmentioned, I muttered. Colin finished his speech to enthusiastic applause. Mom immediately clinked her glass with a silver spoon, drawing everyone's attention. While we're celebrating, she announced, her voice dripping honey, I'd like to say something about my dear Yasmin. Oh, God. My daughter has always been different, just so focused on her career, always working. She gave what she probably thought was a sympathetic smile. And hopefully our Yasmin finds herself a man to take care of her soon. She's given enough already, don't you think? Laughter rippled through the crowd, charitable, condescending laughter. Wow, Jacqueline whispered. That was... Excuse me, I managed, turning away. I need some air. Instead of heading for the terrace, I made my way to the catering station where Eddie, the head caterer, was directing his staff. Miss Hudson? He looked up from his clipboard. Is everything all right? Actually, no. I kept my voice steady. Remember when my mother asked me to put my name down as guarantee for the catering deposit? He nodded slowly. I'm withdrawing that guarantee, effective immediately. His face went pale. But the balance isn't my responsibility. I gestured to the champagne fountain. If they can afford all this, they can afford to pay you. Ma'am, without a guarantee, we'll have to demand payment tonight? Yes, I know. I left him sputtering and pulled out my phone, scrolling to the number I'd tracked down earlier. It rang 3 times before a professional voice answered. Dr. Wolf's office. Hello, doctor. My name is Yasmin Hudson. I believe you're treating my father, Glenn, for a heart condition. I'm sorry, who? Glenn Hudson. My mother said you were scheduling his emergency surgery about a week ago. Miss, I've never heard of Glenn Hudson, and I don't even perform heart surgeries. Who gave you my name? I watched my mother laugh with her friends, champagne glass in hand. That's exactly what I needed to know, doctor. Thank you. Hanging up, I caught Jacqueline watching me with interest. She raised her glass in my direction, a knowing look in her eyes. The party swirled around me, a carousel of fake smiles and borrowed glory. But for the first time in years, I felt something other than resignation. I felt powerful. My phone buzzed, a text from Alina. Did you do it yet? I typed back, just getting started. The night was young, and I had receipts, so many receipts. Jacqueline cornered me by the dessert table, champagne flute dangling from her manicured fingers. So I couldn't help but overhear your conversation with Eddie. I picked up a chocolate-covered strawberry, examining it like it held the secrets of the universe. Did you? Mm-hmm. In that phone call? She lowered her voice. Look, I know it's none of my business, but I've worked with your brother for 2 years now. Let's just say I have some interesting insights about his meteoric rise. Before I could respond, Mom materialized beside us. Yasmin, dear, why are you hiding back here? The Carmichaels want to introduce their son to you. Such a nice boy, works in finance. Mom, I'm talking to Jacqueline about work. Oh? Her smile tightened. Well, surely that can wait. This is a celebration, not a networking event. Jacqueline's eyes glittered. Actually, Mrs. Hudson, I was just telling Yasmin about the company's new investment requirements. Fascinating stuff. 20,000 minimum buy-in, isn't it? Mom's face went blank for a split second. I wouldn't know anything about that. Excuse us? No. I stepped away from her reaching hand. I'm good here. She left in a cloud of expensive perfume and barely concealed fury. Jacqueline watched her go with a smirk. Your brother used someone's money for that buy-in requirement, she said quietly. Wouldn't happen to be yours, would it? I pulled out my phone and showed her the transfer receipt. Her eyebrows shot up. Well, securities fraud wrapped in a family bow. How festive. Tell me more about my brother's meteoric rise. She glanced around before continuing. Let's just say certain numbers don't add up. Projections that magically improved overnight. Client contracts that appeared out of thin air. The board starting to ask questions. My phone buzzed. Alina again. Status update? I texted back. Found an ally. Things are about to get interesting. Eddie appeared at my elbow, looking stressed. Ms. Hudson, I hate to interrupt, but we need to discuss the payment situation. Of course. I smiled sweetly. Have you spoken with my parents? Your father keeps saying there must be some mistake. Your mother won't even acknowledge me. How unfortunate. Perhaps you should try again. Maybe mention the word police this time. He straightened his spine. Yes, I think I will. As he marched toward my father, Jacqueline clinked her glass against mine. You're not quite what I expected, Yasmin. Everyone at the office thinks you're the quiet, supportive sister. Amazing what people assume when you're busy cleaning up their messes. Speaking of messes, she pulled out her phone. Want to see some interesting emails about those client contracts? We huddled over her screen, reading. With each swipe, my brother's carefully constructed image crumbled further. Forged signatures, inflated numbers, promises he could never keep. The board meets on Monday, Jacqueline said. Anonymous tips are always welcome. I heard raised voices near the bar, Eddie confronting my father. Mom was trying to shush them, casting panicked glances at nearby guests. Excuse me, I said to Jacqueline. I need to make a call. I slipped into a quiet hallway and dialed my attorney friend, Sarah. Remember that money transfer I asked you about, I said when she answered. I need to know exactly how illegal it is to use someone's emergency medical funds for corporate investment without their knowledge. On a scale of 1 to federal prison, pretty damn illegal. She paused. Do you have proof? Transfer receipts, recorded phone calls with the supposed doctor who doesn't exist, and now evidence it went straight into company shares, plus a witness from the company willing to verify everything. Holy shit, Yasmin. I heard papers rustling. Give me an hour. I'll draft something that'll make their heads spin. Back in the ballroom, Colin was at the center of another admiring circle, probably sharing his insights on cryptocurrency or whatever buzzword was trending this week. Mom caught my eye across the room. Her face said she knew something was wrong but couldn't quite piece it together. Not yet, anyway. My phone buzzed one more time. Sarah had sent a document, official letterhead, legal terminology, and enough evidence to destroy my brother's career and my parents' reputation in one fell swoop. All I had to do was press send. I looked at my family, Dad arguing with Eddie by the bar, Mom pretending everything was fine, Colin soaking up attention like a narcissistic sponge. Hey, Jacqueline appeared beside me. You okay? I took a deep breath. You know how they say revenge is best served cold? Yeah. I think it's better served with witnesses and documentation. She grinned. Now that's my kind of party. I pressed send. The minutes after pressing send felt like wading through molasses. I watched the party continue, everyone oblivious to the incoming storm. My phone vibrated. Sarah again. It's done, she said. I've forwarded everything to the board members, HR, and the SEC Enforcement Division. You might want to prepare yourself. How long? Given it's Saturday night, probably Monday morning, unless someone's checking their email now. As if on cue, an older man in an expensive suit glanced at his phone, frowned, and excused himself from Colin's circle. A board member, no doubt. Remember when I wrecked your car? Colin's voice startled me. He'd appeared beside me, champagne in hand, riding high on his moment. God, Mom and Dad were so mad at you for letting me drive. I didn't let you drive, I said quietly. You took my keys while I was sleeping. He laughed. Yeah, but you didn't tell them that. You were always good at taking the fall. He squeezed my shoulder. Best big sister ever. The touch sent me back 17 years. Me, working 2 jobs to pay for that car. Him, sneaking out to impress his friends. The crash. Mom's voice. Yasmin, how could you be so irresponsible? He could have died. You never did say thank you, I said. For what? Any of it. The car, the legal fees last year, this party. He rolled his eyes. Come on, don't be dramatic. That's what family does. Is it? I pulled out my phone and showed him the transfer receipt. Is this what family does? His face changed. Where did you get that? My bank account. You know, where Mom and Dad got the money for your little investment requirement. The one they said was for Dad's emergency surgery? The color drained from his face. Listen, Yasmin. No, you listen. My voice was steady, calm. For once in your life, you're going to listen. But before I could continue, Jacqueline appeared. Colin, the board treasurer's asking for you. Something about urgent emails. He practically sprinted away. Jacqueline winked at me. My phone rang. Alina. I just saw the party photos online, she said. Tell me you're not just standing there taking it. Oh, I'm doing more than standing. I described what I'd set in motion. Holy shit, she paused. Are you ready for the fallout? Does it matter? They've been letting me fall for years. Near the stage, I spotted Mom cornering the DJ, probably micromanaging the playlist. Dad was still arguing with Eddie, his voice getting louder. You don't understand, he was saying. The payment was arranged. Ask my daughter. I did ask your daughter, Eddie replied. She withdrew her guarantee. Dad's head snapped up, searching the room until he found me. The look in his eyes, confusion, betrayal, fear, might have once sent me scrambling to fix everything. Not tonight. My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. Board treasurer just called me. They're reviewing everything right now. Colin's promotion is already suspended pending investigation. I watched my brother huddled in a corner, frantically typing on his phone. Mom was still oblivious, now instructing waiters on proper champagne pouring technique. Jacqueline sidled up again. The treasurer's face was priceless. Want to see? She showed me a discreetly captured photo of the man staring at his phone in horror. How long have you been waiting to take him down? I asked. Ever since he took credit for my market analysis and called me sweetheart in the same meeting. She sipped her champagne. But this is so much better than anything I planned. The DJ's voice boomed through the speakers. And now a special dance for the man of the hour and his mother. Mom beamed, extending her hand to Colin, who looked like he might throw up. Should we tell her? Jacqueline whispered. I shook my head. Let her have this dance. It's the last time she'll feel this proud for a while. As they swayed to some sappy song about a mother's love, I thought about all the times I'd swallowed my pride, buried my anger, played the role they'd assigned me, the responsible one, the fixer, the ATM. My phone lit up with another message, this time from an unknown number. Ms. Hudson, this is Gregory Wallace from the SEC. We'd like to schedule a meeting regarding the evidence you submitted. I showed Jacqueline the message. She raised her glass. To karma. To consequences, I replied. The song ended. Mom was dabbing her eyes again, probably congratulating herself on raising such a perfect son. I checked the time. 10 minutes until the cake presentation. 10 minutes until their perfect world started to crumble. I almost felt sorry for them. Almost. The cake was a monstrosity of fondant and ego, 3 tiers decorated with edible gold leaf and topped with a custom figurine of my brother in a power suit. As the waiters wheeled it out, phones appeared everywhere, cameras ready to capture the moment. Before we cut the cake, Mom announced, I'd like to propose another toast to... A sharp gasp cut through the room. One of the board members was staring at his phone, face ashen. Then another phone buzzed, and another. Colin's head of HR burst through the ballroom doors, making a beeline for the board treasurer. They huddled together, whispered frantically, then both turned to stare at my brother. What's happening? Mom hissed, her perfect smile cracking. Colin was frozen, his own phone buzzing continuously in his hand. I could see email notifications stacking up on his screen. Yasmin? Dad appeared beside me, his voice low and dangerous. The caterer says you canceled the payment guarantee. What are you doing? Funny you should ask about money, Dad. How's that heart condition? His face went red. That's different. Different how? Because it was my money you stole, not yours? We didn't steal. He stopped as Mom rushed over. Something's wrong, she whispered urgently. People are leaving. The board members look angry. Colin won't answer my texts. I smiled. Maybe check your email? Her eyes narrowed. What did you do? Me? I just helped expose the truth about the fake surgery, about where that money really went, about Colin's creative accounting at work. You wouldn't dare, she breathed. Watch me. The board treasurer was now on the phone, his voice carrying, Yes, sir. Full audit immediately. No, he won't be in the office Monday. Jacqueline appeared with fresh champagne. Front row seats to the show? Mom whirled on her. You helped her? Actually, your daughter didn't need much help. She just needed someone to confirm what she already knew, that your golden boy's success was built on fraud. The room was thinning out now. Social climbers and fair weather friends making quick exits, not wanting to be associated with whatever was unfolding. Yasmin, Dad tried again. We can explain everything. We were going to pay you back. When? After the next emergency? Or the one after that? You're my daughter. Mom's voice cracked. How could you do this to your own family? Family? I laughed. Family doesn't drain their daughter's savings with fake medical emergencies. Family doesn't blame their daughter for their son's mistakes. Family doesn't. Shut up! Colin stormed over, face purple with rage. You ruined everything. Do you know what you've done? Exactly what you deserve. He lunged forward, but Jacqueline stepped between us. Careful, Colin. Assault charges won't look good on top of everything else. Eddie chose that moment to return, security guards in tow. About that payment? Not now, Mom snapped. Yes, now. Eddie's voice was firm. Either you pay the balance in full, or we'll have to involve the authorities. Dad fumbled for his wallet. Just put it on my card. Declined, Eddie said after swiping it. All three of them. Mom's perfect makeup couldn't hide her rising panic. Around us, the remaining guests were openly staring, phones recording everything. Yasmin! Mom tried one last time. Please, were your parents? No, I said quietly. You're my abusers, and I'm done. I turned to Eddie. Send the bill to their home address and make sure to include a late fee. As I walked away, I heard Mom's voice rising hysterically. This is just a misunderstanding. Colin, tell them it's a misunderstanding. But Colin was too busy arguing with the board treasurer, who was now demanding his company laptop and phone. Near the exit, Jacqueline caught up with me. That was beautiful, but you know they'll try to spin this, right? Let them try. I showed her my phone screen. Dozens of party guests were already posting about the meltdown on social media. The truth has a way of coming out. Speaking of truth, she grinned, wait until they see tomorrow's company-wide email about Colin's resignation. Behind us, I heard the distinct sound of my mother bursting into tears, probably realizing her social standing was crumbling as fast as her son's career. My phone buzzed one last time. Alina, well? I typed back. Mission accomplished. Meeting for drinks. On my way. You got one hell of a story to tell. I took one final look at the chaos behind me, the melting ice sculptures, the abandoned cake, my family's carefully constructed facade lying in pieces. It felt like freedom. I made it halfway to the exit when Colin's voice boomed through the speakers. Everyone stop! I have something to say. He'd grabbed the microphone from the DJ, who was already packing up his equipment. My sister thinks she can destroy me? Let me tell you about my dear sweet sister Yasmin. Mom rushed toward him. Colin, don't. She's jealous. His voice cracked. She's always been jealous because Mom and Dad loved me more, because I'm successful and she's just a bitter, lonely... The microphone cut out. Eddie's staff had pulled the plug on the sound system. Sir, the head of security said firmly, I think it's time for you to leave. You can't make me leave my own party. Actually, Eddie stepped forward. Since no one has paid for this event, it's no longer your party. Colin's face contorted. Fine, you want the truth? Here's the truth. He climbed onto a chair, shouting to the remaining guests. Our perfect family? It's all lies. Mom and Dad have been running a con for years. Colin, please. Mom grabbed his leg, trying to pull him down. Think about what you're saying. Think. Like you thought about using Yasmin's money? Like you thought about all those fake emergencies? The guests who hadn't left were recording everything on their phones. Dad stood frozen, his face gray. You know what the best part is? Colin laughed manically. They didn't even need the money. They just didn't want to touch their precious retirement fund. Why spend their own money when they could spend hers? That's enough, Dad finally found his voice. No, it's not enough. Colin jumped down from the chair. You taught me everything I know about lying and cheating, and now you're surprised it caught up with us? Jacqueline sidled up beside me. This is better than Netflix. Should we stop him? I whispered. Are you kidding? This is pure gold for the board's investigation. Mom was openly sobbing now, her mascara running. Please, everyone, he's just upset. This isn't who we are. Oh, but it is, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. This is exactly who you are, without the masks, without the lies. You ungrateful little... Mom lunged at me, but security caught her arm. Ma'am, this is your final warning. Leave now, or we'll have you escorted out. Do you know who we are? She sputtered. We're pillars of the community. We donate to charities. With whose money? I asked quietly. The room went silent. Dad finally stepped forward. Yasmin, please, we can fix this as a family. Family? Colin laughed again. Tell her about the trust fund, Dad. Tell her what you did with her inheritance from Grandma. I felt the blood drain from my face. What trust fund? The one they used to buy their beach house. Colin was on a roll now, spilling every secret. Grandma left it for you, but they convinced the lawyer you were too irresponsible to manage it. Mom slapped him. The crack echoed through the ballroom. Well, Jacqueline murmured, that's assault on camera. Security moved in immediately, separating them. Eddie's staff began firmly ushering the remaining guests toward the exits. You want to know the real reason I got promoted? Colin shouted as security dragged him toward the door. Because I learned from the best manipulators in the business. Mom, Dad, take a bow. I stood in the chaos processing this new information about my inheritance. All those years of struggling to pay bills, working overtime, postponing my dreams, while they had a beach house bought with my money. Yasmin, Dad tried one last time. We were protecting you. You don't understand? No, I understand perfectly. I pulled out my phone, and so will the police and the IRS and every country club board Mom sits on. You wouldn't, Mom whispered. Watch me. I turned to Eddie. I believe fraud over $10,000 is a felony in this state, right? He nodded, already on his phone with what looked like the police department's non-emergency number. Yasmin, wait, Mom called as security led them out. What about family loyalty? I looked at her tear-streaked face, at Dad's defeated slump, at Colin being escorted to the service elevator. Loyalty? I smiled. I learned it from you. Remember when you said I give too much? You were right, so I'm done giving. The ballroom doors closed behind them with a final, satisfying thud. Jacqueline raised her eyebrows. Drink? God, yes. As we walked out through the lobby, I heard Mom's voice rising hysterically from the parking lot. This isn't over. We're still a family. But she was wrong. It was over, and we were never really a family at all. The bar at Morton's was quiet compared to the chaos we'd left behind. Jacqueline ordered martinis while I checked my phone. 17 missed calls from Mom, 12 from Dad, and a string of increasingly unhinged texts from Colin. Look at this, I showed Jacqueline. He's threatening to tell everyone I'm a drug addict who stole from him. Cute. She sipped her drink. Too bad the board has his actual bank records. My phone buzzed again. Alina was here. She burst through the door, practically running to our table. I just drove past the hotel, she said, sliding into the booth. Your mom is having a full meltdown in the parking lot. Someone's live streaming it. She pulled up the video. Mom, mascara streaked, screaming at hotel security while Dad tried to pull her toward their car. Colin was in the background, arguing with someone on his phone. I can't believe you actually did it, Alina grinned, after all these years of their BS. A notification popped up on my screen, an email from Sarah. Police report filed. IRS whistleblower form submitted. Also found the lawyer who handled your grandmother's estate. He's very interested in discussing the trust fund situation. Speaking of situations, Jacqueline set down her glass. You might want to see this. She pulled up the company's internal messaging system. Dozens of employees were sharing links to social media posts about the party. The board had already issued a preliminary statement. We take allegations of financial misconduct seriously. They're not even trying to cover it up, Jacqueline said. Your brother's desk is being packed up as we speak. My phone lit up, Dad calling again. This time I answered. What? Princess, please! His voice was desperate. Your mother needs her medication. We can't get home. All our cards are declined. Sounds like an emergency. Maybe sell the beach house? Silence then. How did you? Goodbye, Dad. I hung up as another email came through, this one from the country club where Mom was on 3 different committees. Subject line, membership status review. Oh, God, Alina leaned over my shoulder to read. They're voting to revoke their membership. That's going to kill your mom, Jacqueline observed. No, but it might kill her social life. I forwarded the email to Sarah. Add it to the pile? A text from Eddie popped up. Police report filed for payment fraud. Also, your brother tried to steal our audio equipment, security footage available if needed. He what? Jacqueline grabbed my phone. Oh, this is beautiful. He literally tried to run out with their speakers. The bartender turned up the TV volume. A local news ticker scrolled across the bottom. Breaking. Tech startup executive suspended amid fraud allegations. Story developing. They work fast, Alina whistled. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time, but not calling. She'd sent a single text. I hope you're happy. You've destroyed this family. I showed it to Alina, who snorted. Yeah, you destroyed the family, not their lying, stealing, and manipulation. Classic narcissist move. Jacqueline's phone chimed. Board meeting moved to 7 a.m. tomorrow. They're not waiting for Monday. Good. I finished my martini. Neither am I. I pulled up my banking app and initiated a fraud claim for the $20,000 transfer. Then I opened my email and began forwarding evidence to every country club, charity board, and social committee my mother belonged to. Brutal, Jacqueline approved. They wanted to play games? I typed faster. Let's play. Another text from Dad. The police are here. Please call us. Karma's not just a bitch. Alina raised her glass. She's your best friend. My phone lit up with a news alert. Local social media was exploding with party footage. Someone had compiled it all into a viral thread, entitled Exec's Career Goes Down in Flames, with receipts. I should feel bad, I said, watching the view count climb. Why don't I feel bad? Because they're finally facing consequences. Alina squeezed my hand. After all these years, they're finally facing consequences. A final email arrived from my grandmother's former lawyer. Ms. Hudson, we should discuss the misappropriation of your trust fund. My office tomorrow morning? I forwarded it to Sarah with 3 words. Make them pay. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance, probably heading to my parents' house, where the police were undoubtedly getting quite an earful from Mom about ungrateful daughters and family loyalty. To karma? Jacqueline raised her glass. To consequences, Alina added. To freedom, I finished. We clinked glasses as my phone lit up one last time. A text from an unknown number. This is Detective Rivera. We need to discuss your fraud complaint. Are you available to make a statement? I smiled and typed back, absolutely. I have receipts. The morning sun streamed through my apartment windows as I finished packing my carry-on. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Local executive pleads guilty to securities fraud. Alina sprawled on my couch reading from her tablet. Your mom's garden club just voted. She's out. How many is that now? Let's see. Country club, 3 charity boards, the hospital auxiliary, and now the garden club. She grinned. Your mother must be having a fantastic week. My phone rang. Sarah, my attorney. Good news, she said without preamble. The trust fund settlement just came through. With interest and penalties, they're paying back double. Perfect timing. I zipped my suitcase. Any word from the IRS? Oh, they're having a field day. Your parents' creative accounting goes back years. She paused. Also, your brother's company wants to settle. They're offering triple damages to avoid publicity. Tell them to make it quadruple, and I won't post the parking lot videos. Done. I could hear her smiling. Enjoy, Paris. The doorbell rang. Jacqueline, holding coffee and looking triumphant. Guess who just got promoted to VP of Operations? She struck a pose. Turns out there was an immediate opening. Congratulations, I hugged her. You earned it, unlike some people. Speaking of some people, she pulled out her phone. Your brother's LinkedIn says he's now a freelance consultant. Code for unemployable, Alina snorted. Another text came through from Eddie, the caterer. Court date set for the payment fraud. Also, your mother's been calling trying to book us for a family reconciliation dinner. Should I send her our fraud prevention policy? Tell her you only accept cash up front, I typed back, from legitimate sources. My phone lit up with a familiar number. Mom, I put it on speaker. Yasmin? Her voice was smaller than I'd ever heard it. Please, the bank is foreclosing on the beach house. Your father's had to sell his golf club membership. We're struggling. Sounds rough. Have you tried getting a job? This isn't funny. We're your parents. No, you're criminals who happened to raise me. There's a difference. The police came again yesterday, she continued. Something about tax evasion. And Colin, he's living in his car. Guess he should have saved some of that VP salary instead of buying designer suits. Please, she whispered, we need help. Like I needed help when you stole my inheritance? Or when you drained my savings for fake emergencies? Silence. Goodbye, Mom. I hung up as my rideshare app pinged. Car arriving in 5 minutes. Ready? Alina stood grabbing my suitcase. Almost. I opened my safe and pulled out an envelope. Inside was a photo, the last family portrait before everything imploded. I ripped it in half, then quarters, then dropped the pieces into my shredder. Dramatic, Jacqueline approved, but satisfying. My phone chimed with a final email from Sarah. Settlement money transferred. Your new account is officially funded. Have a great trip. Outside, the driver was loading my luggage. Alina hugged me tight. Send pics from the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre, Jacqueline added, and every wine bar in between. I looked up at my apartment building, remembering all the nights I'd stayed up worrying about my family's latest crisis, all the dreams I'd put on hold, all the guilt they'd loaded onto my shoulders. You know what the best revenge is? I said. What's that? They asked. Living well, without them. My phone buzzed one last time. Dad, Princess, please, we're still family. I typed back, no, we're not. We never were. But I'm finally okay with that. Then I blocked their numbers, all of them, and turned to my friends. Thank you for everything. Go live your life. Alina smiled. You've earned it. And we'll handle things here, Jacqueline added. I hear your mom's trying to join the Women's Business League. Wait until they get my reference letter. The driver honked gently. Time to go. As we pulled away, I caught a glimpse of myself in the car's mirror. I looked different, lighter, free. My phone lit up with my flight details. Paris, first class, one way. No more fake emergencies. No more guilt. No more sacrificing my dreams for people who only saw me as an ATM. Just me, finally writing my own story. And for the first time in my life, it had nothing to do with being anyone's daughter, sister, or savior. It had everything to do with being free. The car turned onto the highway, heading toward the airport and my new life. I didn't look back. I didn't need to.